welcome to my channel. If you are new here, I am Brianna. A lot of people call me Bri or Bri Henry. I am the owner of Wayland Apparel as well as Brianna Henry Fitness, LLC. And I'm going to talk to you guys today about how to start your own business. So, first of all, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a backstory on me and my journey. That way that as I'm giving you guys these steps and these tips, I can reference some particular points that happened for me, and that way it makes a little bit more sense. So, in 2014, I want to say, I started posting on Instagram my fitness journey. At the beginning, it was just because I was like obsessed with fitness and I thought it would be cool and helpful to like kind of share my fitness journey. My biggest thing that I have always been the most passionate about has been motivating other people to get active, get fit, get in the best shape of their lives, and fall in love with their bodies and all of that. So my big thing that I've always been passionate about is the motivational aspect of it. So started doing that, I would say around the end of 2015, beginning of 2016, I decided that I wanted to try to grow my social media. I was in college at the time studying nutrition at Penn State, and I had no idea about anything about like marketing myself or anything. I would just basically follow these influencers and try to copy, like not copy, but like get ideas from, and in a sense, yeah, copy like their content. So like if somebody was posting their workout, I would try to post my workout or what I was eating or whatever. So that's all back when it started, and that's whenever I really began trying to kind of create a name for myself on social media. Fast forward to 2017, I want to say, 2017 or 2018, I decided to go ahead, and I was doing some online coaching and things like that. I was like attempting YouTube, but like nothing really spectacular. But I decided that I wanted to go ahead and finally turn what I was doing into an LLC. I was doing pharmaceutical sales and I got laid off from my job, and I was like, screw it, I'm gonna go. This is like my sign from God, from the universe, that I'm supposed to be doing this other thing. This is my chance to dive on in. So I went ahead and turned my online coaching into something more legit. I put a lot more time and effort in trying to make like more legit, like not more legit programs, but like make the programs look more legit, everything like look more official, and really try to market my programs so much more than I ever had. So that is where that begun. And then from there, I decided to launch my own set of hip circles. That was back when they like first became like super cool. So I figured out how to do all of that. I launched those, and then from there, I started my own merch. I did drop shipping merch. Like I said, my whole thing has always been motivation, and my little like slogan that I kind of branded for myself has been still not done. I'm a huge believer that this is not like just like oh, let's do this diet and get this body and we're gonna stay there. Like that's not how it works. Like we're forever trying to be, in my opinion, I'm always trying to be like the best version. Like you can always improve, you can always make your body better. Sometimes you fall back, you can always make your business better, your relationships better, whatever it is. So still not done has become my thing. So I started making shirts and sweatshirts that said that and had a couple different quotes on them. I got a logo made. I was doing drop shipping, so I didn't have to like order a bunch of inventory ahead of time. That's how that kind of all started. And then that was probably 2017. Come 2018, I listened to a podcast about the creator of Lululemon, and I just like was like, oh, this is a sign. I have a lot of signs if you can't tell. And I decided that it was time to try and start my own athletic apparel line. I always like had thought about it, but I never thought that it was something that I would attempt with such a low following count. Such a low follower count. I never thought I would try it as such low numbers. I think I had like maybe 14,000 followers at the time, which to some people is a lot, but when you go ahead and compare it to people like Heidi Summers, who owns Buff Bunny, or Christian Guzman, who owns Alphalete, or Ben Francis, that owns Gymshark, or Taylor Chamberlain, that owns Balance, these people all have a lot more followers, which means a lot more people that are a lot more likely to buy their things. So a lot of people were skeptical, I'm not gonna lie. But one thing that I think I'm very fortunate with is I have it's like never been in my mind that something like wasn't possible. Like I was just raised that like whatever you want to do, you can do it. Like, and it wasn't even something that like we necessarily like talked about all the time as a family, but that was just how it was. Like if you want to do something, figure it out, make it happen, you can do it. So that's one thing that I was pretty fortunate with, is I have never been like a person that's had a huge amount of self-doubt. It slips in from time to time. But anyway, I digress. So I was like, screw it, I'm doing it. This is my sign from the universe. I'm making it happen. And luckily for me, a lot of things just kind of fell into place and really worked out, if I'm being honest. There was a lot of luck involved. Obviously, I put in the hard work. I'm gonna give myself a tap on the back for that, back for that one. But a lot of it was luck. I'm gonna be honest about it. And yeah, anyway, now here we are, 2 months away from our 1-year anniversary of our first launch for Waylon Apparel. Men's Alignment is coming soon. Amazing things happening, and I could not be more excited about where we are heading with this. So that's me, and that is what I just wanted to preface all of this with before we get started. So I know that like Ben Francis, the owner of Gymshark, has done like a lot of these videos, and I obviously don't have as much experience as him, but I'm gonna give you guys what I know anyway, okay? So pause for a sip. Okay, I have my little list so I don't forget things. Okay, so how to start your business 101. Step number 1. These aren't necessarily in order because a lot of them like overlap, but it's just the order that I wrote them in. So number 1, you need to know what you're going to sell. What is your business going to be about? Is it going to be a product? Is it going to be a service? So one of the main reasons I wanted to give you like my overhead is because so Waylon Apparel is my larger, more successful company, but it's not where I started. So if you like want to start a clothing line, but maybe you have 100 followers or you have no money to buy the inventory for the clothing line, don't be afraid to start somewhere. Start with some form of product. Maybe you're just going to start as an online coach. Maybe you want to sell skateboards one day, and right now you're just selling classes to kids in the neighborhood of how to skateboard. I don't know. That was the most random example I could have thought of, but you need to figure out what your product is going to be, and if you have a very expensive product that's kind of out of your reach right now, think of something else that's smaller that you can start with. I say this because a lot of people will put things, like doing things off because they say, well, I don't have the money or I'm not there yet or whatever. We'll start with something else. Get some motherfucking building blocks up in here so that you can make that end goal of your clothing line or your skateboard line or whatever it is happen. So for me, I started off selling online coaching programs, and then from there it was hip circles, then merch, and then this. So figure out what your product is going to be or your service. You want to make sure that you're unique. Like, why are people going to buy your item versus somebody else's? You know, you like, especially nowadays with social media, everyone is starting their own business. A lot of this stuff tends to get saturated, especially the fitness market. That was one thing whenever everybody was asking me about Waylon, they're like, well, what's going to set you apart? Why are we going to buy your stuff versus blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, you just wait. So you need to figure out how you're going to make yourself unique, whether the product itself is unique or you're marketing it in a different way than other people are. I mean, obviously I have individual pieces for my clothing line that are unique, but a lot of them, the concept of as a whole, I'm not like creating the wheel here, but I'm marketing it differently than a lot of different brands are and things like that. So just figure out how you're going to get creative in that aspect so that people are going to come for your product over somebody else's. And make sure that it's something that provides value. So, for example, clothing, there's a purpose people wear the clothing, but aside from that, people will buy it because of the value that our brand puts forward as far as motivation and things like that. So you want to think about value as far as like the actual product, and then kind of more as a whole, like what is your brand providing to them versus somebody else's brand? Which brings me to number 2, your brand. So my branding that I began with was for Brianna Henry Fitness, LLC. And at the beginning, I really didn't have a clear like brand set. But the one thing that people really knew me for was my like motivational style. I'm definitely more of like a hardworking, shut up and do it type of person. But I'm also like a fun and relaxed and easygoing person, and I understand that sometimes you do get overworked, you know, so I'm not like too crazy hardcore about it. I would say I have like a decent happy medium, but I go more towards the motivation. So the motivation thing. So once I kind of thought of the whole still not done concept, that was a great way to improve my brand and kind of have something that people would recognize when they see my content and they keep seeing me post things. So I started hashtagging still not done at the end of like all of my posts that it made sense to do it with. I started putting that on my shirts, little things like that. I chose a color to represent me. The covers of my highlights for a while were all of like this like aqua blue color. When I sold my hip circles, one of the bands was that color. Whenever I my logo had a little bit of like that aqua blue color in it, like that was part of my branding to kind of pull it all together. And so you really like want to start with that in your brand image. For Waylon, from the very beginning, I decided that I wanted our brand to be about hardworking, like dedicated people. Like I didn't want this to be some like fluffy, woohoo, cute, glitzy gym brand. That's not who I am as a person, and that's not what I believe in. I mean, that's great if that's what you're into. You know, there's like a lot of like body positivity and all for everyone type of brands, and those are amazing, and I, you know, can support those, but that wasn't what I wanted to encompass with my brand and what I wanted to be about. I wanted to be about putting in the work, putting in the effort to get where you want to be, setting those goals, crushing them, like in just putting your head down and doing the work until you're there. So I knew from the beginning that was the type of brand that I wanted to put out there for the world, and now we're sticking to that as we grow, and we will as we continue to grow. So focus on your brand. Some people have the money to invest in someone that can help them figure out what their brand is going to be, you know, like a slogan, some colors, and whatever else. I personally didn't have any fucking money. So this kind of is going to go into number 4, but do your research. Like, you can literally learn anything on YouTube. Everybody has made a video about everything on YouTube, I swear. And if they don't have it out there yet, go to the library, find something else, Google, and then I'm sure in 2 months from now, somebody will have made a video about what you're trying to learn. So you can literally learn anything. I had a degree in nutrition. I didn't know anything about branding. I don't have anybody in my family or anybody who knows anything about branding. So I did all the research on my own, and you easily can as well. So 2 is brand. Number 3. This is a big one for a lot of people that I feel like some people don't talk about when they make these videos. Money. This is a super important one when starting a business, but the most important part about this topic is that just because you don't have any money does not mean that you cannot get started. Please, if you are using a lack of money as an excuse, you are just setting yourself up for failure. Like, you're doing it to yourself. You're not where you want to be because of yourself at this point. So if you don't have money, there are other things that you can do to work on your business and getting it started until you have the money to place that first product order or whatever it is. So whenever I first started Waylon, a lot of that was money that I saved up from sales from my online training. So start something else that doesn't have a large cost to get it started. Save up money from that, or get a second job, or just start saving from your job that you have in a separate savings account. Get the money starting to go for this business that you're going to start with, or you can work with investors. I personally have chosen so far to bootstrap everything, which means that I'm just paying for things as I can afford them with the money that the company made. So I invested at first several grand to get started. And from there, I just, as the company makes more money, that's how we purchase new inventory. I haven't been paying myself as of now because I want to be able to grow and get more products out as much as I can, as fast as I can, so we can become a large brand so that one day I can pay myself whatever the hell I want to pay myself. But we aren't there yet. So you can bootstrap, you can get investors. If you don't know anything about investors, do your research. We haven't used them up to this point. I don't know, we'll see, not making any promises, but my point is that just because you don't have the money to necessarily place that first order of whatever you want it to be, does not mean you can't get started. You can be doing all of your research for your branding, for do more research on your product, do more research on your market that you're going to be, like your competitors and the people that you're trying to sell to. There are so many things that you can be doing in the meantime. to still be proactively working towards that goal. All right, and last but not least, I guess I kind of just started talking about this already, but research. So 2 things I want to say about this. 1, there is an infinite amount of information that you can be learning. You should always be doing something. There should never be a point where you're like, oh, I don't have anything to do. My business is just kind of growing. You can always learn something new. You can learn how to edit your videos and photos better for social media. You can learn how to manage your money better. You can learn how to do your taxes or whatever it is that you need to do. You can learn more about fabrics or whatever it is for your particular product. There's always something more that you can be learning. So please don't ever think that you know enough or that you can just wait until you hire people to do something better. No. So there's always something to research. And that being said, just because you don't know all the answers doesn't mean you can't get started. I didn't know shit about half of the stuff that I needed to be doing whenever I first started, and I learned it as I went. There are obviously particular things that you should make sure that you have taken care of before you get started, like a lot of like the legalities. But other than that, you will learn as you go. If you're telling yourself that you haven't like launched and got your LLC and started doing things yet because you feel like you don't have your whole business plan laid out or whatever it is, like I research business plans and I like try to write one like 10 times. I don't have a business plan. I'm gonna be honest, like my little brother was going to school, Penn State, for some type of entrepreneurship thing, and he would like send me things and try and help me, and I would like try to fill them out, and I was like, I don't know what to put. So I don't have a business plan. I'm going with the flow. I'm not saying that that is the best model to go with, but I'm just saying I'm making it work, and just because you don't have every single detail of your plan figured out does not mean that you cannot begin to execute at some part of your plan. You can literally learn everything, like I've said, online. And like I said, there's different things. You can learn how to get your own LLC. For my first LLC for Brianna Henry Fitness, I paid a lawyer to help me get it set up, or there's like websites online that you can do it. I just had a friend of a friend who was able to help me for a good price, but then I learned that I could have got a better even price, and I learned that it wasn't even that hard and I could have done it myself. So for the second LLC, I filed it myself, saved myself money there. There's always different things. You're gonna have to learn how to do your taxes. I personally choose to pay someone for that, but there are also some things on my end that I have to learn how to get organized with my expenses and my income and all of that. You're gonna have to do a lot of research on your products. So figuring out who is gonna be the best manufacturer of your product, figuring out how to negotiate with those manufacturers. You can look that up on YouTube. Once you figure out where you're gonna manufacture from, or you have like an idea of where you're gonna start going from, look up how to manufacture with people from here or whatever it is. You can look that up easily. That's how I learned. And I didn't know a lot of this. I was lucky that my boyfriend was like, oh, YouTube this. Like he was like a YouTube fiend. He was like, this is on YouTube. So he showed me a lot of that. So you can look up negotiating. You can look up how to even find a manufacturer in the first place. Once again, I lucked out. My boyfriend told me a website to start looking for them on. So that's kind of how that happened. And I honestly kind of lucked out. I spoke to probably like 3 or 4 manufacturers, and the one that kind of just answered me the fastest and had something that I was looking for, I got samples from them and didn't love them, but after like a few rounds, I found what I was looking for, which is really lucky because a lot of people, and not even a lot of people, us, it's happened to us now, like the men's line has been taking a lot longer to find exactly what we're looking for. And you do want to be picky with your product. You want to make sure that it is quality. Sometimes you only have one chance to capture that audience and make sure that they're going to be a return buyer or whatever it is. So you really want to put in the effort there. So do your research with that. Do your research as far as who your ideal customer is, who's going to be purchasing your product. What does that look like for you, and how can you market towards them? How can you create this product for them, create value for them so that they want to purchase your product, all of that. And then market research. So you need to look at your competitors. What are they charging? What are they creating? What are they doing? How are they capturing their audience? Like, what are they doing well with? What are they doing bad with? How can you improve upon what they've already put out there and make people want to buy from you instead of them? You also need to look into liability things. So with online coaching, I needed to make sure that I had an LLC to protect me. I needed to learn how, in the beginning of my guides, put all of these kind of like, not warnings, I don't know why it's like skipping my mind right now what I'm trying to say, like liability statements basically, so that if, you know, I'm saying I'm not a doctor, I'm just giving you my advice as far as what I know from my personal knowledge, what I think would be the best possible way to get you in shape or whatever, but I'm not a doctor. Take the doctor's, you know, advice first. If you get hurt during this, that's not on me, that's on you. That type of stuff, you have to look into all of that. So there is a lot to learn. I will be honest about it. And this is just kind of like a general overview. And I guess this is kind of more turned into like a motivational thing. So I just want you guys to realize that like you can honestly like start on nothing. Like it is so possible. It is so doable. If you had some type of dream or business or goal or whatever that you want to start working on, like it is doable just because you don't have X, Y, and Z laid out yet. So I hope those tips, even though they're broad, I hope that was helpful for you guys. If you have any specific questions or any like particular topics that you want me to dive deeper into, I would be so happy to do that. I would love to help you guys out more. I'm going to drop the links below for my two businesses, Waylon Apparel and my online coaching, Brianna Henry Fitness. And yeah, I hope that was helpful. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Like I said, comment below any questions that you have at all. I'm here to help. And yeah, bye.